Can I set these back here to the meeting zone? You just lay it across flat if you want to. Right?
Yes, sir. We have Joseph.
You don't want it right there.
Meeting to order. We are meeting with the North Carolina Department of Transportation with Mr. Scott Poston, Division Traffic Engineer. Did I say that right? Where are you?
Yes, right.
There you go. Okay. And Mr. Barry Cross, Deputy Traffic Engineer. Thank you all for being here tonight.
I'll start. Can I get y'all to come up here? Come up here. I mean, you can sit in the front row, whatever. We've got, there are questions when you're dealing with DOT. Every time I've dealt with DOT, they'll look at you, and y'all will look at me and go, we gotta find out, or we gotta get back. And I expect that, okay? I expect that 100%. The first major complaint that the citizens of this town have is Trade Street. How their DOT came in on their own and adjusted the lights. And now the lights are green. Oakland Street, all the way past Philly Church Road at the same time. I used to be a radar operator in my past life. I've stood out there on several Saturdays and made students from anywhere from 35 to 60 miles an hour going through town because it's one green light. Don't get broke up, particularly in the Gastonia Duo. I can understand why you want the lights green so that traffic will move. They don't think about the traffic coming down Gaston. Gaston Street gets backed up past 2-3 blocks down that way because they can't get out here because when they change those green lights, the side streets, Gaston, Holland, Philadelphia, Hoffman, you sit there as a citizen, minutes it seems like. Well, now I know 5 minutes because I timed it before the light changes. And it's causing a lot of people to, number one, violate the law and run the red light because they think it's just broken. And so a lot of people are wondering why the light was changed and can we do something to break up the speed through the town here. We will vote to purchase 2 LiDAR units so our officers can run radar legally, laser on the thing to try to work to slow it down. We're going to buy your speeding signs that you see all over the place. But as long as those lights stay lit up at the same time, somebody's going to get ran over. Is there anything you can do to help us there?
Is as far as I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, I understand that.
But
that's the whole purpose.
To spend the money, I guess you're talking thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to do engineering studies to put the lights in coordination and to come up with signal plans and coordination plans, and then to just kind of toss that aside and throw it out the window. That would not be something. Would have to go to.
But I think that'd be a request from this board and from the citizens, because the area here, I have an office over there, and you don't go across that street at certain times or you will get killed. I'm more concerned that somebody's going to get killed across the road, or I've watched families stand at those control points and push the button. And that's and you got a whole family standing there 5 minutes or so before the light unit says you can walk, and nothing's coming sometimes.
That would be another, I guess, result of putting the signals in coordination. If they're under free run or they're running by themselves, you push a button and lickety split, it changes and lets you walk across. But if you've got, these 4, 5, 6, how many ever signals that are all at time in coordination, you have to wait for the cycle that's going to solve that issue.
Well, I think this board and the citizens would really like for y'all to look at that. And if there's someone else we need to contact, we'll contact them because we're really interested in making the downtown area safe for our businesses and for the people who come.
And our college students too. We have a college that's growing, so I think that's really important. Something that Mr. Cross, you said, you spoke about the coordinations and how, can you explain again to me how the state looked at your top 10 coordinations you used? They said, okay, we'll pick these based on the budget. Can you go into that?
Yes, ma'am. The state looks at a lot of like what we call pro data, especially along coordinated systems. The coordinated system here in Dallas runs from down here all the way out to Gaston College. speed, and we use performance measures to look at how effective is the traffic flowing, is the delay increasing, decreasing, or volumes increasing, and that's made a decision, and our central timing group talked to the different divisions, like our division 12 here in this area. And they'll contact us twice a year and say, here's your top. And then we pick, naturally we just pick the top. We start, yes, that's a good order. Can you have them every time, top to bottom? Now, we don't always have the budget. We may only do the budget of, let's say, 4 this year. Next year, the metrics will change and that order will change. But then the state gets a consultant out, and they come out and collect turn movement and volume counts along the corridor. They do themselves travel runs. You do that throughout the day, AM, PM, midday, and then they develop timing plans on how to move that progression through your town, or through the corridor, or through the, whatever the access.
And we talked about this, my issue with that is that there's a disconnect with, and I didn't realize about the consultant unless I missed it. At some level, there has to be communication between, I think, the state and the municipalities. If they're going to change something that's going to affect us daily, we need to be aware of it and understand what we do now. So are we supposed to get in touch, or is that consultant supposed to be in touch with us, or who do we talk to about that? Well, I know it's already happened, but now.
As we mentioned, most municipalities we work with are, and let me use a fictitious town somewhere built in Ireland County.
Okay.
We have several municipalities that meet with the DOT on a quarterly or bi. Hey, we have issues, and it may be traffic, it may be drainage, it may be any thing the DOT permits. You would meet with like our district engineer here in Chilton.
Which would be, who's,
There's currently not one, he was promoted. The district engineer show is currently vacant. There's no district engineer currently.
so then who, I'm sorry?
I said they'll get back.
Oh. So then who would we get in touch with? It would have to be the most recent district engineer or
His name's Blake Guffey.
Blake Duffy.
Yeah.
Okay. Blake Duffy, and then you don't have a district engineer yet, or it's?
We do not. He's
Okay.
still coming.
We need to get in touch with that.
So what you said was that we need to start having regular meetings with the engineer, because I got 2 other areas that I'd like for you to know about.
Yeah, and that's usually the district engineers, like he covers Cleveland and Gaston County. So he's sort of that first focus, and then from there it typically goes to our roadside, our traffic, our maintenance units. If there's issues, there's a static pothole, the pavement conditioning is working. It's usually a good contact and a follow to get to the right people. Because we have a vacancy rate that's, and people are filling in with other jobs. So it may not always, you may get one person a day, but they may, like Blake has been moved to another position, he's doing 2 jobs. So it may, having that district contact kind of keeps you focused on, at least you got a office or the, what's it called, assistant district, or somebody at an office will always be there and can get you to the right person.
You know, talking about Trade Street out here, and we know it's your road. But I want to put some speak on something else.
That's the state law, yes.
Yeah. police chief, he went out there and ran what radar we got, and during the day, the average miles per hour is between 35 and 45 miles per hour in the 25-mile zone. Can we lower that speed limit, or is that y'all?
That you can request that we lower it, and we don't normally, I'll say we don't normally, we can't lower anything below 25 without the state traffic engineer's approval. So that's something you would request us, and then we would, propose it to the state traffic engineer, and he would say yea or nay.
Now Dallas, may not be on your map, but we know that you're going to close down 85, and that's going to run more cars through here. But we've gone from 3,000 people to 6,000 people. And in the next 5 years, we're going to be close to 10. Development has occurred over off New Hope Road and Main Street. You know where I'm talking about? You know where the Long Creek Fish Camp is right now? And that big old church? At that intersection there. If you rode back behind there, you'd see an awful lot of houses, an awful lot of families. If you go down in Rosewood, you'll see new development being done there. There's going to be a tremendous amount of traffic feeding into that intersection. Already is, and people complain that they can't get out. It would be my wish, and I don't know if anybody agrees with it, putting a roundabout there to slow people down, number one, but also where people can get out, because there's so much traffic. You know, there's a lot of traffic on New Hope. I mean, if you don't live in Dallas, but what time is it? It's 5 o'clock. Right now, traffic's probably backed up all the way to that intersection, trying to get through Dallas. And now we understand that's part of having these synchronized lights all at one time to beat the traffic so the racetrack's open. It's dangerous. But when you also talk, there's another.
You tell me the other road, is New Hope, what road?
Main Street.
Main.
Isn't that right? No, it's Main Street Extension. Main Street Extension. It's at the intersection of Spencer Mountain Road, Main Street Extension, and New Hope Road. You'll go and just look at that. And the other thing that would,
If I just piggyback on what you're saying, Mr. Conover, is that in that, I know that probably for 20 years or better, that I have always heard that there was going to be a widening of Highway 279, which is Trade Street coming through, from Robertson Clemmer Road up through past 279, because that is where a great deal of this bottleneck traffic happens. It is just too small to handle the traffic that is coming into Dallas from Gastonia. And as Mr. Conover mentioned, this town is growing. And it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. I understand we're here talking about sequencing of lights, but that's also what happened to that widening project. There, and especially at that corner at 275 and 279 going down into Stanley Dallas Highway. That's a very dangerous intersection. And in 3 to 5 years, it's already obsolete, let me put it that way. In 3 to 5 years, it's not going to be able to handle the flow of traffic that's coming into this town. And as this town continues to grow, families coming in. It used to be once upon a time that, when the American family was a mother, a father, two and a third kid in one car. But now every family has 2, 3 cars, and those things. That's going to be too much
the goal is, as well as ours, safety and mobility, right? We're looking at mobility even overall, but safety. And that's something that we need to attain here. But it's not only gonna help Dallas, it's gonna help the other municipalities as well, and Gaston County as a whole. Because there are people that live and work in other municipalities that use Dallas as a through traffic. And that's something that we need to look at. So if you guys could take that with you, that would be very helpful for us. And hear what we're saying. I know that you personally can't do it yourselves, but just hear us and understand the concerns from where we're coming from as a board and as a town. We're concerned about it.
One thing that another municipality in this county did, they as a board or their leadership, when they wanted us to look at something, one of the, it's a sort of, I think, a good tool, is draft a letter, what you want, and send it to our district engineer first, division engineer, to our top person. And that way it goes, it bypasses us and goes to the top.
So good to
Division.
Who's that?
Mark Stafford.
Mark Stafford. I got it. Yep. Okay.
We got an address?
I have his.
Well, my last thing was simply what the Reverend's saying is, it was supposed to be widened, the old Long Creek Fish Camp closed, but the road was going to be widened, and then it wasn't widened. I think y'all already had those funds. Don't know when it's going to be widened, but if DOT would go there to that intersection, 275 and 279, and build a turn lane that when people are coming to that point, now you have an area that will let you turn. You can turn right on red, but you got to make that type of turn, because that's what it is. If it was an exit type, that would increase the flow of traffic, in my opinion, and I'm no traffic engineer. But when you guys go around that telephone pole to make that right on the 275, and 275 is one of the only ways to leave Stanley and come to Gastonia, come to Dallas. It gets backed up.
Especially when you consider that where we are located between Highway 321 and I-85, and this is a shortcut, as the mayor has said, for a lot. People come around and miss that section of 85 down here. And I understand, and we know and we see that a lot of our tax dollars and highway dollars are being I-85, for example. True, it's needed. I can remember when 85 was being built, I was going to Salisbury, and I've seen all the things that have gone through and a lot of the money that's been put into that. But now you've got us right here in this little corner. If we're going to be here and to exist, we need some help. We really do. And thank you for, letting us know who we need to get a hold of. I know that you guys, your hands are tied. You do the best that you can. We appreciate hear us and hear our concerns. Perhaps you could put a bug in somebody's ear as you go about your business as well. Say, hey, I believe these folks in Dallas, they need some help. They really do.
Another question I have, and I'm not sure, again, if you guys can handle this, but looking at adding stoplights. With that, because this is a state highway, are you guys the ones that do that? DOT, not you personally, but DOT, because with our developments that we have, Seminole, it's another, the Walmart that's there, those places need traffic lights desperately because of the traffic that's flowing so fast here. There are no lights there, and it's a four-way intersection, and it's dangerous. There's so many wrecks there that happen at those two places that I don't know
You
what.
know where he's talking about?
Yeah, and then
At the
something there. They have, they have high schoolers going to school, and
Well,
that
if-
flow of traffic is dangerous. Sorry, go
Right.
ahead.
If it was warranted or required, that, long day traffic impact analysis, and those, are reviewed through the district engineer's office. And if some type of, if a development such as Walmart, if the TIA showed that it required, a traffic signal there, then Walmart would have been required to put a traffic signal there. So, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the TIA probably did not show that it justified a traffic signal to keep Walmart on the field.
Is the TIA something they have to send in?
It depends.
Because we could say
it all
that they didn't
depends on
send
how
one
many-
in, so now,
It all depends on how many trips is generated by the development and the driveway permit.
what about for Seminole, a development that's been there for 20 years?
That would be something that we would take a look at, we could take a look at it to see if it would warrant the signal. There's 9 warrants today, or 9 warrants in the,
No,
8 warrants in the.
there's more, we don't need to look at it.
Yeah,
So that would be something that you all look at for Seminole. Okay, I have a question.
Isn't there a new development going in down by Walmart?
Yes, there's a
That's
district
the,
here.
I
Yeah, there is a new development that's going in beside Walmart too.
it's,
But see, that's the reason we ask these guys to come, because we have to start this conversation.
it has to be.
And they have given us great information, they're listening to us, but your town board, we're gonna have to make a plan on what needs to be addressed and send it to the engineer and all that. We're trying to go through the process. You see, I didn't know that DOT would schedule a regular meeting to come and visit with us, because that would probably be something we need to do 4 times a year. And plus then we can, because they don't know what housing development, there's 100 houses about going up on old 321. I mean, think about how that's going to be near the flea market. So we need to be meeting with you, letting you know about our developments that are going on, just so you know about the risks. And so I appreciate y'all coming and hearing us and giving us some answers, but they're a little frustrated with
If you, as a town, this is for citizens too, if you have a location, you want to look at traffic light, all-way stop, speed limit adjustments, contact our office. And, you get a nice little form so we can, put your contact information down, and we go out and we'll do an engineering study on, let's say there's if we get to see, we have 900 signals that we take care of in 6 counties. I don't normally just ride around looking to try to build another one in places. We usually have, people go, hey, we have a problem, and we come out and try to see what to do.
where would we find this? We're just write you in general,
You
hey,
can call our office, I will,
I have Mr. Poston's phone number.
email, I can send you our form, which you can pass out to.
we can put it on our website for people.
We'll make it public for you.
Don't use anything on our website,
No.
but it's we've generated this form, we will email it to you. And then, let's say you wanted to look something, I would email that form to you, and then you return it to our office. And then we schedule it as a, whatever, like at 5, I'm doing right now, you would be number 6.
Now with that, and this is a question for us all in an understanding, with you all being state of North Carolina, and state appropriated money. It's not something that we can just add to a wish list and say, Mr. Cross, can you come in 3 weeks and put a light and fix it? It's gonna be something that's gonna take time simply because of the budget.
Yes.
Yes.
And a lot of these we have to find, if there's an intersection that has a safety issue or and that's usually and I don't want to say it's wrong, that's the best way to get money. Because that crash rate is high, there's definitely a problem. We can pull from a pool of money in our regional office. He can go to Raleigh and get the money to have it built. There's a pool of money out there for safety projects. If it's a mobility issue, we have a little trouble funding it because we have to somehow cut it out of our budget. My boss tells his boss that we need a signal meter, we need $150,000.
Right, and I hope you see that this is not simply just mobility, it's really concerning safety.
Absolutely, and they should go hand in hand.
Right.
And I think the department, from my perspective, is getting better at not being just vehicle-based. There's been a change in the mindset. Traffic engineering in our typical unit, that it's not only you in a car and me in a car and you in a car. It's, well, I have a car, you have a bike, you want to take your family down the road, and maybe there's a shuttle service or something, or something that it used to be called multimodal transportation. I can't keep track of the buzzwords they use now, but it's similar. It's usually, are we, does this road need a bike lane? Is it wide enough? Can we make it work? Does this road, is this like all of our projects now are including sidewalk when they didn't 15 years? Compact factor is better now, but when we have projects that come into an area, I know I'm kind of, don't take this for granted, because I'm not a project engineer, but if we were going to do a project to widen that road, there's supposed to be public meetings, right? And there's supposed to be some input from local governments.
I think there were public meetings 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
When they were going to do it, then COVID.
Again, this is sort of me hearing the chatter. We have it's called our STIP program. If you're familiar with it, it's where the state allocates the money for the, like the I-5 widening to whatever, smaller STIP project, where they make wide.
174 bridge wide.
Yeah, these are in there, and like I said, I look at it every occasionally just to keep my finger in it. But those, I don't know how many projects are generated, and I think that's something to do with the MPOs and you guys talking to the dealers. Yeah.
Concerning the TIAs, is this something that you guys are actively involved in, or?
No, the TIAs, if somebody wants to build a subdivision, temporary.
And that's where I'm going, because out here on 321, we have over 600 houses that are going up out there within the next 5 years. They've done TIA studies out there, but I don't think anybody that's sitting here on the board or that's in this room believes what those TIAs are saying, because that road is already business as it is. When these houses go out there, feeders that are coming out of these communities going to 321, it's going to be a nightmare. But yet still, the only thing we're getting back, and I know the developers have, of course they have to call for these studies. We've asked them to do this as well. But the only thing we're getting back on Highway 321 is turn-ins and turn-out lanes. Very few stoplights if I'm anything, and no widening on that highway at all. It's murder See how these TIAs can come back and say, well, all you're going to need is a turn lane here and a turn lane there. We're not seeing anything that's going to substantiate 600 some odd homes.
And that's where you would benefit from speaking to the district engineer and build that relationship, because I think our minimum requirement to require a TIA is 3,000 trips generated, whereas we have other local municipalities we deal with who they require 1,000 trips generated to generate a TIA. So, and we'll review those. Our district engineer reviews those as well. So that's where you can talk to the district engineer. And I'm not sure how that works, if you have to pass a resolution or form a higher position or do something that would require 1,000 trip TIAs.
Okay, I can think of that. Yes, sir.
I live out there. And no, I don't live inside the town. I live up in the town, you know. But I thought that had died, I really did. But when they go to do that study out there, do it on Saturday or Sunday. Don't do it during the week when there's not a lot of traffic. Do that study on Saturday and Sunday when the flea market's full and you already can't get up and down through there. Man, I thought that had died, but I guess they're still wanting the money. But my only other issue that I had tonight besides the speeding and that, because the speeding is terrible out at the crossroads also, it's not just in town. But it's 7-Eleven, and I'm not here to throw anybody on the bus. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm glad we have an open conversation. This is where it has to start. In front of the 7-Eleven and the parts store, there are exits. They have an area to go in, they have an area to go out. Come up through there at 6 o'clock in the morning and some person turns left. Right in front of the car. There may have been accidents out there, I don't know. I talked to other people and they said they had talked to state. I called the state. Nobody's ever got back. That's not to put you guys down, because what y'all. But some places put, you know, they had put posts up because people were turning in front of traffic. Well, when you come up through that 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and he comes barreling out of there, there's wrecks. There's real wrecks. And that's just another safety issue. Unlike you, I want the safety first. We'll make it through town somehow. But the safety part of it, because of people's carelessness, is a big thing.
So you're talking there to access 321?
No. This side of it. Right in front of but when people come out of that exit from the parks place and they're supposed to turn right, but they turn back left in front of traffic.
It's no left turn.
Yeah, it should be a no left turn.
They should talk to the line.
I got it, yeah. I know where you're talking about now. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Mrs. Mayor, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Yeah. I will get right. I think that we, first of all, need to thank y'all for coming. And because you didn't know what you was coming to, because we didn't know what you were coming to, because we're wanting to start communication. I think that's what the mayor, she met with you earlier, I understand, and let you know that. And to the citizens here, what I'm going to suggest to the mayor is that we take down the Reverend's concerns, Paul's concerns, my concerns on the board. So if we didn't call us, let us know. Let us write one letter from the town to the head engineer. Is that right? The district engineer.
Head engineer.
He's the boss.
He's the boss.
Boss man.
And let's put all our concerns in there, so if you got a concern that we didn't bring up, and I'm sure there is some, call us so we can send a good letter requesting start meeting with DOT once every 3 months at least.
Something that I would like to do, moving forward after today, I'd like to get the forms from you. And what I will do is we will make them public either on, at any level. We'll put it on the website somewhere. We'll put it on the website and we'll put it on Facebook. And if you need it and can't access it that way, call me, shoot me an email, Maria, Mr. Blackburn, anyone in town, and we will get you that form. And I'd like to say by, what's today? If you have a form and you filled it out, put the information on it, I'll put them all together, look at them, write a letter, and then send them into the district manager and set up a meeting with him, if everyone is okay with that. So by next Friday, if you have the time to get the form, put in your complaints and concerns.
Or they could just send us an email. Send you an email, you're better.
Either way, contact me at some level by Friday of next week with the form or whatever it might be, and then we'll take care of it from there.
Call me. Give it out today.
And if you want one of my business cards, one of my cards for contact information, please see me once this is over.
Call any of us, because we're going to try to fix it. You understood the word I said, try? I didn't say I am going to fix it. Try.
Thank you both for being here, and thank you all for coming tonight. Meeting adjourned.
Thank y'all for coming. Sleep late tomorrow. Sleep late. Whatever we do here today, just sleep late. We're trying to find We're here for you.
Yeah.
We're here.
art class. It's a little different, but I'll go over it. This was for me, Pearl, thank you. Thank you, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you would all please follow Jonathan and stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Need approval of it. Does anyone have anything?
Madam Mayor, I have an addition, if you would please, ma'am. I would like to add a discussion for Black History Month proclamation. We'll talk about it, we add to February's agenda for approval.
Sarah, what's that? Do we have something? What was that note? What was it?
Well, if you remember, bring it up later.
I do have something I want to add. I just want to add a discussion about a full-time social media specialist. Just discussion on that.
We need a motion on the agenda now.
Okay, go.
Make a motion to set the agenda with the exceptions we noted. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
If we can, we should add to that, those would be added as items E, Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's look at new business. We have rules of procedure for the Board of Aldermen.
And you just gave us a new one, right?
Yes, so we'll have two to look at in our packet. There's the original rules of procedure for the Town of Dallas Board of Aldermen. Through that diligently. And I'm sure that Mr. Munn has as well. But I kind of took it upon myself and rewrote it in a sense. Now, we can talk about it. I can go through it with you, or you can read it on your own, and then we can look at it and vote on it in the next meeting.
I make a motion, we table this matter to the next meeting, give us time to study.
Have a discussion. Okay.
All right, we're consenting that we won't study this thing. What do you think?
A lot. So let me just, if we can, I'd like to go through a couple things that I changed. That way you can highlight or star so you know kind of what you're looking at.
We can chirp in during your,
Please. Yeah, I want you to. So, yes, go by the new ones.
2 seconds.
So the new one here versus the old one, what I did was I kind of just reorganized it all, because before, if you look at the old one, and I don't know if you guys have one, but if you look at the old one, it was just a bunch of rules that, in some of them, or then to a policy that we didn't even have. For example, when you came, when you were sick, for the special meeting in here somewhere, and this was my new one, I made notes on my last one, but it said virtual meetings. If y'all find that one, let me know.
virtual meeting, that's rule 3, right? Remote participation.
Is it
Bottom page one.
the old one?
Hold on, that is. That is the one in the agenda. The old one.
Here it is. Rule 23, page 9. It'll be 11 on the bottom corner. If you look at that, it says remote participation in the Board of Aldermen meeting. A member who is not physically present for a Board of Aldermen meeting may participate in the meeting by electronic means in accordance with the town's remote participation policy. We don't have a remote participation policy.
Well, it should be state statute, because we're only allowed to participate remotely during the declared emergencies
Right, which essentially it was
on the last.
on the last meeting day.
Right, it was because of the weather.
Mhm.
Right. And we,
So,
it was a discussion, and it was so last minute that we decided just to get wait this time.
But we could make our rules say that we can do remote participation.
yes, so I took it upon
Tom
myself.
said no.
Right.
Only in declared emergencies can we.
Okay, so,
No, and not a town, it's a state.
right. Right, so with that, rule 3 now here, a member who attends a meeting electronically via phone, Skype, etc. may take part in debate and vote on any matter before the board only when enough members are physically present to constitute a quorum. A member may remotely participate by rights up to 4 meetings per time. Remote participation beyond 4 meetings The board may elect to approve those instances on a case-by-case basis. Now, when it falls under a state statute, then that should be okay, right?
No, because if there's a declared emergency, like during the pandemic, and we're doing 10, 20 meetings over the length of the declared emergency for the pandemic, you wouldn't be limited to just 4 or more. You would, each one.
Right, well, that would make sense. I think this is safe without the declared emergency.
We can't have participation electronically except for a state declared emergency.
Really?
That's the only time we can
Okay.
participate remotely.
Okay, so let's look at Rule 3. I'm glad we're going over this because we need to look at that. I took a lot of these from Davidson, from the town of Davidson.
Right.
So, and I didn't reword these, so that's just something I was looking at. So,
Did Davidson have that?
Condition it based upon the declared emergency. That's the
That's
only thing
not
I want
theirs.
to add to yours, except for taking out any member of the way we limit the
Right.
court. I just wanted to add only during the declared, state declared emergency. Because the way this is set up is that if a board member is on vacation but wants to participate, he can, the way this is worded, he can participate from the beach,
Right.
even though it's not a declared emergency, and that would not.
And the county law may be different because of the pandemic. The county commissioners were calling in the meeting all the time before the pandemic. I'll tell you that because I sat through it too many times.
well, and the only way they can vote though by this is if there's enough physically in a
Well,
board.
they voted on, there are different rules for cities and
And
counties.
counties, right.
There are different rules. The county was voting on the speaker outside the time of the pandemic, so there must be a different rule for the county.
And it may be, but the policy, the statute I read on the night for the special session, and I was under the impression this applied to any public body, not just counties or towns or cities. But obviously, I need to look at the statute more, and then we could probably address it to
Okay.
see exactly what we stand.
Right, and that's why I wanted to go over this because I haven't yet. So what I did was organize it. We have applicability of rules. Part 2, types of meetings. We have regular meetings, and then we have a quorum. What I did here is just define what a quorum is. Board. Number 4, special emergency and recess for adjourned meetings.
Mayor,
Yes,
there's a statute dealing with quorum
okay,
that is very, very complicated,
okay.
more so than what we've got right here.
All right. Number 2, the presence of a quorum is necessary for the board to conduct business. A majority of the board's actual membership plus the mayor, excluding vacant seats, a member withdraw a meeting without being excused by majority vote of the remaining members in attendance is deemed present for the quorum purposes. Okay.
Like today, if we were going to take a vote today during a special meeting, if we were, we would have a quorum because we have 3, but if, well,
Well, because we have 4, but I'm not a voting member.
but you're still counting
You
as a
get counted.
quorum. So
Right.
we could have voted, if this is what we had comprised of during a regular meeting, and you want to take a vote, the 3 could vote,
Okay.
because you constitute the quorum being the 4th member.
Right, so then where's your state? Come on.
I've been to school, and they had a whole hour about quorum. A lot more complicated than that. I agree with you, I like it like it.
I was going, do you want me to make it longer?
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying there may be
That's
a
chapter
conflict,
160A.
there may be a conflict there, because they were talking about not to count the mayor and whether or not.
Well, that's for a vote of an ordinance. I think perhaps,
And
you
also,
have to have a super majority for an ordinance to pass on its first presentation. And you cannot count the mayor.
I'm just saying there was,
Right.
this is fine, but there may come a time where that law, we have to look at it.
We'll make an amendment then. Maybe?
The law, you make an amendment, the law's the law.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Hunt, so there is no specific ratio in the quorum? Like, I know that, say for instance, in meetings, et cetera, we consider a quorum 2/3 of the congregation quorum membership. So there is no number like that, but
No, it's
based
just
on
the majority.
It's a majority.
Majority.
Okay.
And we are allowed to count the mayor to.
Right, and she's the tiebreaker,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
Circumstance. Okay.
And the mayor, if we were another member, and we would have three,
That would not.
We could not.
that's, no,
Okay.
because you've got to have more than three when you're counting the mayor.
Right. Okay. So Alan, do we need to look at something for the quorum?
No.
All right. Recess for adjourned meetings. I think I made a change there. That's the same. Okay. Good there. An organizational meeting. Like I said, you have to go through some of these. That was Rule 3, and what I did was I just made it a separate rule and added under types of meetings. So I really just reorganized.
And the most important part of that is making sure it's stated time and place when the meeting would be convened.
Great.
That's the most important part.
Okay. Let's look at. Part 3, agenda, proposed agenda, adoption of the agenda. The agenda shall be posted in a public forum. This is one I changed. I believe I changed this one. The agenda shall be posted in public forum online or the city clerk's office for review. Tom, do you see that? Rule 2, number 1, page 3.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Talking about proposed agenda, right?
Yes.
And you are wanting to include the agenda on the town website every.
After it's been approved,
Right.
then we'll have it up.
Because usually, once it goes out and it's formed, it is on there.
Right, right. Okay, perfect. And that's what I figured. I was right. Okay, you're good. Let's see. Recognition of citizens.
Mayor, go back to June.
Okay,
The old one, said we want to start here, what, 2 days, come before, 2 days
there
down
you go.
prior?
Go ahead, yep. So you'll have to bring it to me. Show it to me.
Agenda,
Number 4.
Did you
now,
see
2
it?
days.
Hold on, listen here, let's look at proposed agenda, rule number 4, page 2, subsection A. Is that where you're at?
You
On
want
the old one. What is it? The town clerk, this is the old one. The town clerk shall prepare a proposed agenda for each meeting. A request to have an item of business placed on the agenda must be received at least 2 working days before the meeting. Any Board of Aldermen member any board may, on timely request, have an item placed on the proposed agenda. A copy of all proposed discussion items shall be attached to the proposed agenda. An agenda package shall be prepared that includes for each time of business placed on the proposed agenda. as much background information on the subject as is available and feasible to reproduce. Each Board of Aldermen member shall receive a copy of the proposed agenda and agenda package, and it shall be available for public inspection when it is distributed to the Board of Aldermen. The town's agenda policy will be followed. That's the old one. Okay, now let's look at the new one. Listen, remember, this is self-critique, so I want you guys. The town clerk shall prepare a proposed agenda for each meeting. A request to have an item for business placed on the agenda must be received at least 4 working days before the meeting. Versus 2.
I would like to suggest
Please.
that you make it at least 4. What had been in the past, and we didn't have a document like this, but it was usually said, if you have an agenda item, try to get it in on the first Tuesday of the month. And that's usually pretty good, except things will continue to trickle in.
Right.
But for now, Sarah having to do this, you know, she's not just the town clerk, she is the HR director. And 4 working days is Thursday before the Tuesday
Okay.
meeting. And that, according to what else may be going on, may really be cushion.
Okay.
I would like to suggest that it be Wednesday at minimum, which would be 5 working days, or potentially could make it Tuesday. But I think if you wait until Thursday, because the goal has always been to try to get it out and distribute it by Thursday, to give children, and especially if it's large. So, you know.
But isn't that more for the public, because as board members at any meeting, we can bring what's something.
You absolutely can.
So,
You absolutely can.
you know, you gotta look where you're talking about the public has to do it before the board members.
See, I was thinking more for the public, but I also, this was too, and I was thinking along the same lines that if we added to, it would help out whoever the clerk is or whoever's making this. So, we're not doing it.
Correct.
You guys are doing the work. So,
Wednesday's fine, but I just wanted to clarify that this is for the public, and that's what's important, that they know that they can put something on our agenda.
that we actually say, okay, we get it to them 4 days or 6 days in advance. But
Is there going to be like a filter to perhaps approve what a citizen may want to add to the agenda?
I think that, well, if a citizen comes to us and we see that, then we could simply just add it to the item. But for them, it's a lot harder because it has to be, they have to prepare it, the package.
Right.
So I think if you guys are able to filter that, you can do it good. If not,
Let's get to that point, then that's when I talk to you and we go over it.
right.
Perhaps, instead of putting it on the agenda, new business or whatever, maybe just add it to citizens' comments, perhaps.
Yeah, and that's a good option. So with that, how many days?
Citizens' comments, if I disagree. If I have an issue that I want to come before the board to talk for more than 3 minutes about, and I should have that right to do that. And so, but, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, the clerk gets the proposed agenda together. The mayor has the power to say what's on that proposed agenda. So, in her opinion, should not be discussed, that a citizen wants to discuss, she cannot put it on there, but I think I am pretty well sure that if she pulled any citizen in on the agenda, that someone will be contacting that citizen to explain what's going on and see. And I can't think of, anything we could stop the citizens from coming here talking about. But if it's something you're talking inappropriate for the board.
Well, yes. A whole, perhaps, a road that needs to be repaired, which is a valid citizen's complaint. But again, if the citizen wants to spend an hour talking about it and have 27 petitions signed by damaged caused cars, you know, you might want to maybe not spend that much time.
Yeah, well, and I do have, whenever we get further in there. And so,
I just want the citizens to be able to get up here.
yes.
And I think,
Of course.
and you're right, the mayor could sort of police that, so to speak, and it would be then up to the mayor maybe to move it to the citizens' discussion.
Right, or we could have a special meeting for specific hearings or whatever it might be.
More discussion, it could then be added to next month's new business.
Right. So with that, Sarah and Maria saying 5 minimum.
It can get really, it can get very hectic and, just trying to give her the latitude to get it done in a timely manner and out.
Tuesday is ideal, but
So
I
6.
think no later than Wednesday. But do you think there would be an issue, me getting the packets out by Friday instead of Thursday?
And that would be up to,
Because you know, normally they go out to you on Thursday. Would there be an issue to get them on Friday? It kind of just gives them one extra day.
We're gonna push it to Tuesday. So we're gonna give you the 6 days. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna highlight that here.
What about you?
Yep. Okay. Rule 2, yes, good. Rule 2, adoption of the agenda. We already did that. Citizens, 3, recognition of citizens. Let's look. Here.
And this is a change because you are adding the ability of the alderman to address citizens during citizens,
Yep.
which was never allowed.
Right.
You don't have to, but you certainly have to.
Where is that in here, in the old one?
Well, this whole one from what you got from town.
Because I got,
Right. Now, I made, I didn't have that in the first one, but I think I added it when I made my amendments. So let's see. This is- Public address to the Board of Aldermen.
yes, public address, so page 3 of our own one, it'll look like page 3 and page 5, bottom right corner is 5.
Read over.
Yep. Oh. Rule 5, public address to the Board of Aldermen, this is the old one. Any individual or group who wishes to address the Board of Aldermen can make a request to the clerk at least 2 days in advance of the regular meeting to be on the agenda. However, the Board of Aldermen shall determine at the meeting whether it will hear the individual or group. Unless determined otherwise by the Board of Aldermen, each speaker will have a maximum of 5 minutes to address the Board of Aldermen. Type B, the Board of Aldermen shall provide a public comment period during its regular Board of Aldermen meeting, which is the 3rd Tuesday of each month. The town's public comment policy will be followed.
Yes.
On there, go ahead.
Yeah, Thursday.
Second Tuesday instead of the third.
Okay. To our new one here, recognition of citizens. All right. All right, recognition of citizens. Any citizen may address the board at the regular meetings during the recognition of citizens portion of the regular meeting. Unless determined otherwise by the Board of Aldermen, each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes to address the Board of Aldermen. Group or citizen, if any board member so desires during this time. However, the board members are not required to respond. The board may limit any group or groups to have one speaker for any issue. Number 1, the mayor will determine the order of speakers. Number 2, decorum shall be maintained during recognition of citizens. Failure to maintain decorum may result in forfeiting remaining time and/or removal from the meeting. Number 3, the mayor or mayor pro tem shall determine decorum, which may be appealed by the Board of Aldermen. So if I think that Billy Trudenick's out of order, just because it may seem that I don't like what he's saying, you all can appeal, overrule me. Give the people a better chance to speak and not having to run it through Sarah or Mr. Blackburn or anyone there, just allowed to come to our meetings. And I went to a Mount Holly meeting a few weeks ago, and I really liked what they did there. Putting more on Zach. I really liked what they did there, but they had a sign-up sheet for public comment or public hearing. And then the sign-up sheet comes to the front, and somebody would say, "We welcome Mr. Trudenick to the front and discussion of blank." And then he starts his 3 minutes to speak. And I think that would kind of keep order instead of me saying, "And who wants to speak? You first," right? And I know we don't have a lot of that here, but just in case that does happen, or if we have a hearing for the Department of Transportation and people want to speak, we can at least have some type of order here.
Now, if someone doesn't sign up because they don't anticipate what citizen A is going to speak about, but then they hear citizen A and they want to get up and give their 2 cents, their name's not coming on the list, so you're going to,
Yes.
to allow them, even though their name's not on the list.
Because I think that's appropriate.
Let's go through the list first
Yep.
and ask if anybody has any other comments.
Yes. Thoughts?
I'm good.
Okay. Number 4, public hearings. Let's see. Public hearings required by law. I think that's the same. That's normal. I don't know if I changed anything on that one. Rule 5 minutes. That's all normal. I don't really, maybe a word here and there. Shall be placed on the agenda according to the order of business. The order of business for each regular meeting shall be as follows. I did change this one a little bit. If you look at the old one, page 3 and 5, you'll see it matches with the new one on page 5. Number 1, invocation of pledge to the flag. 2, approval of agenda with additions or deletions. 3, approval of minutes. 4, recognition of citizens. 5, consent agenda. 6, used to be public hearings. So we need to add old business first and then move it down to public hearings. Simply because the public hearings are typically going to be on new business. So 7 then would be public hearings, 8, new business, 9, mayor's report. I think it's important for you all, if you will, but you all and our citizens to know what I'm doing, not just sit back. Updates as far to representatives, what are we doing in town, what are we doing for the county? I think it's important. I don't want to seem like not doing anything. Something I do want to add to this, and if you guys don't have anything, then that's fine. But I would like to add a director's report. So if you have any updates from the fire department, police department, public works, electric, staffing, whatever it might be, I want director, Parks and Rec, I'd like to add a director's report there too. Either way, however you guys think it should be fit there. We can do director's report, mayor's report, manager's report, however you guys think that would.
Be in a written form and submitted as part of your agenda packet.
In the agenda packet.
Right, as opposed to every head or the manager getting up and making a speech. It would just be part of your agenda packet.
I'm not following.
Well, where you get the manager's report, manager's report, I can see it be a department report also, how many traffic citations were issued a month, how many fires or calls, public works report, all the different departments. As part of the agenda packet for your review, as opposed to every department head and the manager getting up and
Okay.
sometimes maybe regurgitating the same things you've already heard over the past 30 days.
Right.
But we'd be able to say, "Hi, manager, I read in the report, you said that you weren't riding on the trash truck.
Yes.
Why'd you have to ride on the trash truck?"
There you go.
Because Billy wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's good.
So you guys, so we don't need to write that in here anywhere, just somebody. Is that what you're saying?
It's just a
Managers and directors.
Do you want to include board comments there at the end? Also?
Yes.
Board members'
Thank
comments?
you.
Oh, that-
Yep. And then I also wanted to add board comments as part of closing. So closing/board comments.
Then adjourn.
I'm sorry.
Number 12 would be adjourned.
Yes. I put closing. But yeah. By majority vote of the Board of Aldermen, items may be considered out of the order prescribed above. So that's fine. Part 4, organization of the board, presiding officer. That is Rule 7, but it turns to page 4 in our old one here. Yeah, 4 and 6. I changed this one kind of a lot. So presiding officer. Alrighty. The mayor shall preside at Board of Aldermen meetings if he or she is present, unless he or she becomes actively engaged in debate on a particular matter. The mayor may only vote to break a tie. In order to address the Board of Aldermen, a member must be recognized by the mayor. If the mayor is absent, the mayor pro tem shall preside. If both the mayor and mayor pro tem are present, the Board of Aldermen shall preside. The mayor pro tem or other member who is temporarily presiding retains all of his or her rights as a member, including the right to make motions and the right to vote. Let's pause there. Let's look at the new one. If the mayor is absent, the mayor pro tem shall preside. If both the mayor and mayor pro tem are absent, the secondary mayor pro tem, designated by vote of Board of Aldermen, shall preside. The mayor pro tem or other member who is temporarily presiding will suspend member, including the right to make motions and the right to vote. They will assume the role and responsibilities of the mayor for purposes of the meeting. Thoughts?
Technically, you need to put in there that the mayor will preside over all the meetings, period. If the mayor, then start if the mayor's absence. Would that not be correct?
Yes.
You need to put in there that you're the presiding officer.
Can we have this short discussion regarding some minor things coming up in the next month or so? And I was wanting to address the ability of the mayor to vote on everything, or because we only get to amend it, modify it every 2 years. So it's a discussion that, it probably could be real easy to discuss whether or not you guys want to consider that, or the mayor gets to vote on everything, or just keep it the way it is, only break ties. We have that option when we modify our charter. And I don't know how you guys want to do that, but if we're going to amend it, if you guys want to do that, I'd rather get it in this separate, or in this all-in-one amendment. two separate resolutions.
I would stay with the way it is. The mayor's the tiebreaker. Mayor's themselves, the aldermen can't agree.
Or, yes, if there's an even number of aldermen,
Right.
typically, in theory, there's never going to be a time for her to vote because there's going to be 5 members available.
Right. So your other option is saying that, I'm saying me because I'm the mayor right now, but I would vote all the time.
All the time, right? And you wouldn't be able to break a tie. You just would not, and it wouldn't pass if it was tied 3-3.
Right, and that would just create chaos in a sense. I don't think we should do that.
And she doesn't break the tie in that instance.
Yeah, I think we just keep it the same.
Okay.
If everyone's okay with that, I would also rather not have that. All right, so the only thing that we need to change there is add, the mayor shall preside at the Board of Aldermen meetings, period.
We didn't continue.
And then if the mayor is absent, okay. Okay. Old one. If the presiding person becomes actively involved in debate on a particular matter, he or she may designate another Board of Aldermen member to preside over the debate. The presiding individual shall resume presiding as soon as action on the following powers, those listed below, to rule motions in or out of order, including any motion patently offered for obstructive or dilatory, is that right? Dilatory purposes, anybody call them? To determine whether a speaker has gone beyond reasonable standards, to entertain and answer questions of parliamentary and law procedure, to call a brief recess, or to adjourn in an emergency. If you look at the new one, I changed it, where it says, if during the absence of the mayor pro tem and in debate on a particular matter, the discussion shall be continued until the mayor is able to preside. I think that just breaks it down. The other one I feel is too wordy, where this one just breaks it down and says, if there's a debate.
So, you're not here. Sam, whoever the secondary, we're discussing something that they get into a debate, we can't go ahead and vote.
Overly involved in the debate.
You mean hostile?
But no, not hostile. But let's see. Actively involved in debate. So it's actively involved.
Because as a mayor, I can't be active in a debate, correct?
You can give comment.
Absolutely, comments, but actively involved in debate. Mincing words, but yes, absolutely. You can sort of nudge people along and sort of try to get them to understand your position or one of the other aldermen's position. To me, though, is if we're relying upon the mayor pro tem, if it's actively involved, and if the mayor pro tem is aware of his limitations, then he's not going to be actively involved. He's going to want to vote, right?
Right.
But if he gets actively involved, this is saying that you're going to continue.
Or then they'll be able to vote because I said up here, somewhere, up here, that the mayor pro tem suspends their rights as Board of Aldermen members, so they're not allowed to vote.
That's something else that I'm going to have to look at and check. I think that if the mayor pro tem is not actively involved, overly involved, I think that he can still vote. You can't break a tie, though.
Right, but that's what I'm saying up here is in Rule 1, the presiding officer, made a statement in here, the mayor pro tem or other member who's temporarily presiding will suspend all of his or her rights as Board of Aldermen member, including the right to make motions and right to vote. They will assume the role and responsibilities of the mayor for purposes of the meeting.
I'll have to see if that is a, if we're left with a mayor pro tem, if they shall vote.
Okay.
I know they can't vote for it now. I have to look at that specific language again.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head, what it is, but it'll be easy enough.
Okay, well, I made a note in there for that. So let's move on to, make it a little star in here too, because I don't think I like that paragraph anymore. Number 1, the mayor may only vote to break a tie. Number 2, in order to address the board of...
What's the member?
In order...
Yes.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, member, what is a member?
Yeah, it would be us. You guys.
A member of the board.
Mhm.
I see. You want to take
In
the
order
two
to,
out?
yeah, don't y'all think? Okay, take 2 out. Number 3, the mayor pro tem or secondary mayor pro tem shall have the following powers. So then it's contradicting this piece. I'm so glad. Order, including motion patently offered for obstructive or dilatory purposes. To determine whether a speaker has gone beyond reasonable standards of courtesy in his remarks and to entertain and rule on objections from other members on this grounds. To entertain and answer questions of parliamentary law or procedure in consulting town legal counsel. To call a brief recess at any time. To adjourn in an emergency. Page 6. A decision by the mayor pro tem or secondary mayor pro tem under any of the first 3 powers listed may be appealed to the Board of Aldermen. 16, motion 1. Such a motion is in order immediately after a decision under those powers is announced, and at no other time the member making the motion need not be recognized by the presiding officer, and the motion, if timely made, may not be ruled out of order. We need to look at Rule 16, Motion 1, because I don't know if there is a Rule 16, Motion 1, and that's something that I wanted you guys to help me with.
Rule 16.
In the new one.
Appeal ruling from there.
By the way, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Revisiting item 2,
Which one?
number 2, the rule 1 presiding officer. It says, in order to address the Board of Aldermen and then mayor. I would just, for just a suggestion, I would leave that in.
Okay.
Because if you get 2 members speaking at the same time, the mayor will have that authority to say, Alderman Milton, you have the floor. Alderman X, Y, Z, you have the floor.
If you're gonna leave it in there, get rid of that word member.
Yeah, just.
Okay.
It needs, you've added a new person.
Oh, in order to address the Board of Aldermen, he or she must be recognized by the mayor.
I'm trying to.
Rule 2.
Rule 2, in order to address the board, any alderman must be recognized by the mayor.
Okay, in order to address the board, comma,
Comma.
and alderman,
And
just and alderman must be recognized by the mayor. Okay. Thank you for catching that. Six. Okay, Rule 2, Board of Aldermen. Oh, I know it.
No. Fine. What page?
6.
You want page 6? Okay.
I kind of brought this one together. This is what I did. Okay, so I made rule 2 under organization of the board. I added, so we have presiding officer under the organization and then board of aldermen under organization. Under board of aldermen, it says the board of aldermen, new one, shall proceed by motion except as otherwise Rule 3 and 5 and Part 4. Any member excluding the mayor may make a motion. So what I'm hearing is we don't like the word member. Or do y'all? Do you see where I'm at?
Oh, yeah, member just.
Do you like the word member there?
No, I don't like the word member.
Okay, so any alderman, so anywhere it says member, we need to change it to alderman.
Probably a good idea.
Okay.
Or change alderman to member.
No. Okay, so then I took the rules, each rule on the old one, and then made them just a subsection of the rules in the Board of Aldermen. A second is required, a motion does require a second. One motion at a time, a member may take only one motion at a time. Substantive motions, a substantive motion is out of order while another substantive motion is pending. So we can't make 2 motions. Adoption by majority vote. A motion shall be adopted by a majority when a quorum is present as defined in Part 2. Last, voting by written ballot. The Board of Aldermen may choose by majority vote to use written ballots to vote on a motion. Such ballots shall be signed, and the minutes of the Board of Aldermen shall show the vote of each member voting. The ballot shall be available for public inspection in the office of the town clerk. The vote place and until the minutes of that meeting are approved, at which time the ballots may be destroyed. Debate. The mayor shall state the motion and then open the floor to debate. The mayor shall preside over the debate according to the following principles. I don't think I've changed anything here. The maker of the motion is entitled to speak first. No. Let's see. I did add one, the very last bullet there on page 6 on the new one. Do you see it? Page 6 on the new one, the very last bullet I added. The mayor at any time may call for an end of the debate. Is that okay? Sure.
And then you need to add, and shall call for a vote.
To that bullet?
Well,
Huh?
somewhere, because if you end debate, that's basically like one of us making the motion to call the question.
Okay.
This is all under parliamentary procedure. Anybody on the board can end debate by saying, I call the question, and then you vote to call the question. If it's called, that ends debate, and you go forward. And you can have.
So then do we even need the 4th bullet?
Yes, I think we need that.
Okay.
It gives you the opportunity to keep controlling the board, but if you're going to use that one, you need to say that you will end the discussion and call for a vote.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Looking at chapter 160 for the mayor pro tem.
I'll say you can read it.
Okay. What? Yeah, I did. Okay.
One other thing, you're right. You don't have to go by Robert's rules, but there may be times that people make motions, and I've seen this everywhere. Then there's discussion, and then the motion gets amended because of that discussion. From what you've got here, vote it down, and then have a new motion that has the additional language that was decided during the discussion. So you need to sort of look at that. You sort of have two motions at the same time. You have an original motion, you can put in there something about requiring a second, one motion at a time. A motion is out of order when another substantive motion is being made. Because during discussion, something will come up that will change that motion. So you have a substantive motion, so to amend it, you gotta be able to say, well, just simply say it, just put in there. If during discussion of a motion, additional language needs to be added to that motion, something like that. Tom can word it better than me.
Yeah, you would, right. And we have done it like 1,000 times when during the discussion, the motion changes just a little bit. Before the vote, you amend the motion to include the additional or deleted language from the original motion.
You just got to have something in there saying that with a substantive motion on the floor during discussion, if it's determined to change it, it can be changed, something like that.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I'd like to read this and think a little bit.
All right, let's
And
go.
if I could, so I can move my train of thought. Mayor Pro Tem, doesn't matter if he's actively involved or not, he does not give up his right to vote.
Okay, so we need
He
to
can
take
vote
that
on-
out.
Yes. Let me see, including Councilman Sirleaf, Mayor Pro Tem shall be entitled to vote on all matters. So it's not any, whether we can or we don't have to, but yeah, he shall be entitled to vote.
So that's on, where was that?
That is Rule 1, Part 4, Rule 1. Second paragraph.
It just needs to be edited. And the one where it says, Mayor Pro Tem or other member who is presiding will suspend his or her rights, we need to take that out. Okay.
Will, and we just put in there, will retain the right to vote.
Will retain. So put retain all of his or her rights as a Board of Alderman member, including the right to make motions and the right to vote. And then they will assume the role and responsibilities of the mayor for purposes of the meeting. Okay, perfect. That's right. All right,
What page?
7. We're on 7, on the new one. Ratification of actions. I changed this one a smidge. Oh, what? To the extent permitted by law, new one, the Board of Aldermen may ratify actions taken on its behalf, but without its prior approval. A motion to ratify is a substantive motion. All I did was add the definition of ratification, just for clarity. Ratification is the action of signing or giving formal consent to a treaty, contract, or agreement making it officially valid. Just a little bit of a teacher in me there that was necessary. All right, moving on, we move on with our old one. Rule 3, duty to vote. Every member must vote unless excused by the remaining members of the Board of Aldermen. A member who wishes to be excused from voting shall inform the mayor before the vote. The mayor shall take a vote of the remaining members. No member shall be excused from voting except in cases involving conflicts of interest as defined by the Board of Aldermen or by law, or the member's official conduct as defined by the Board of Aldermen. In all other cases, a failure to vote by a member who is physically present in the Board of Aldermen chamber or who has withdrawn without being excused by a majority vote of the remaining members present shall be recorded as an affirmative vote. So this really, it's not talking about anyone on this board, but really just to protect the board as a whole. People withdrawing themselves for malicious reason.
Yeah, that is considered a yes vote.
Right.
And absent themselves without the approval.
Then it's a yes. Okay. Rule 4, special rules of procedure. The Board of Aldermen may adopt special rules of procedure as circumstances warrant. The special rules of procedure shall be established by motion set out prior to discussion of the topic. Part 5, this is where in the old one was procedural motions. Rule 16 in the old one, page 5 or 7 on the big side. This one is pretty much the same. Let's look to the field. Y'all see anything different? Tell me if you do. Take a brief recess. I did add to take a brief recess. This motion may be made at any time from the length of time of sure recess. Turn to page 8. Motion 4. Call to follow the agenda. Motion 5 to suspend the rules. This one's a little different. The Board of Aldermen may not suspend provisions of the rules with the state requirements imposed by law of the Board of Aldermen. For adoption, the motion requires an affirmative vote equal to 2/3 of the entire membership of the Board of Aldermen. The motion the motion to suspend rules shall not be used to circumvent the authorities vested in the mayor or presiding member or alderman by the rules of procedure. I added that. I don't remember why now. Read it to me, Tom. What is that? Motion 5.
Yeah, part 5, what section?
Page 8 of the new one.
Motion 5, to suspend the rules.
Yeah.
Board of Aldermen may not suspend provisions of the rules that state requirements imposed by law on the Board of Aldermen. So if it's not imposed by state law, if you make a motion, it has to be approved by a supermajority, 2/3, which would be 4 members. That have to be 4 members of the board to vote to suspend the rules.
So instead of 3 of 5, it has to be a super majority of 4. So we do need to keep that 2/3 because Mr. Milton and I were just talking that maybe we need to change it to majority vote, but if that's the case, then it needs to stay at super majority or 4 to 5.
Yeah, I guess that last sentence is there just to make sure that there's no, I can imagine.
Hey, I can't imagine it, but just in case.
Right.
Okay. Again, this is for 20 years down the road. I hope we don't ever have to. Motion 6, you heard me say it, to go into closed session. Number 6 was really wordy on the old one, so I shortened it and said the Board of Aldermen may go into closed session only for one or more of the permissible purposes listed in general statute, whatever that is. The motion to go into closed session shall cite one or more of these purposes and shall be adopted at an open meeting.
And some of those, 9 or 10, I think, require special sort of, for instance, like tonight, with legal counsel. If we're involving a lawsuit, we need to name the parties. And there are some other special requirements that are required for going in for particular purposes.
Okay.
Can't you go into closed session on issues? I know we might have military, but issues of public safety.
Public safety. Let's see, I know this one that was in this in the agenda was quite wordy.
We just check because there can be confidential procedures and routines that we do in public. Literally is public record.
Right, if the board wants to discuss the criminal investigation, is that what you're-
Well, or let's say somebody,
Bring your own.
huh?
I've got it in here. So if you turn to page 9,
I'm on that.
okay, if you look at 3B, here we go, I'm going to start at 3. To
3B.
discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the town, or B, the closure or realignment of a military installation, the board may reach agreement in closed session on a tentative list of economic development incentives to be offered in negotiations, but the approval of the signing of any economic development contract or commitment and the authorization of the payment of economic development expenditures must take place in open session.
Yes.
So,
No, but if the chief needs $10,000 to go make a drug deal in the town, and he has to come before us to ask for that $10,000, that is a public safety request, correct?
That may be questions, and that's something that maybe the public doesn't.
That may put the public in danger if we,
Yeah, number 8, looks like, plan to conduct a written report concerning investigations of alleged criminal misconduct.
here it is.
That
would be one.
See that, Alan?
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I got FOIA requests for, like in the jail, pictures of our control boards. And I said no, because not everybody needs to know what our control. We may make a FOIA request for, you know, something that needs to be confidential that risks the lives of law enforcement. Now, after they're no longer a risk, it can be made. You just need, if you, no, you got it real tight there.
But number 8 is in closed procedures is tight.
Yeah. I have to think about it.
I'm gonna highlight this one.
Well, I'm gonna read all this.
Don't trust me, I know.
Come up with something. Now, me not knowing, but I'm just saying, and I don't know what procedure we have with that.
Well, it's in the state statute, so obviously, if it's in the state statute, those are the only things we can go in closed session. And
There's no way of getting around that.
No.
I mean, because it's just the statute. Okay. Motion 7 to leave closed session must be, I just added to that one, must be approved by majority vote when a quorum is present. Motion 8 to divide a complex motion and consider it by paragraph. Motion 9 to defer consideration. There was something I wanted to bring up in that.
at an unspecified time,
Hold on, wait, where?
motion 9, for consideration.
The Board of Aldermen may defer a substantive motion for later consideration at an unspecified time. Can they say,
Is that the same thing as a adjournment? That's not a adjournment, or recess meeting. But,
let me read the rest of it. A substantive motion, the consideration of which has been deferred, expires 100 days thereafter unless a motion to revive consideration is adopted. If consideration of a motion has been deferred, a new motion with the same effect cannot be introduced while the deferred motion remains pending. A person who wishes to revisit the matter during that time must take action to revive 16B, motion 14, or else move to suspend the rules, Rule 16B, motion 5.
so, to defer consideration. The only problem I have is, at an related consideration consideration at an unspecified time. I think we should remain consistent and say, just defer this until April 17th. or
Okay,
whatever.
so just put at consideration at a specified.
Specified date and
Okay.
time.
At a specified date and time. Okay. Do you think 100 days is plenty? Thoughts?
I would think that we can take it out because we're going to specify a
Right.
date and time.
So you could just take that out. I don't think there needs to be a limit on that.
Unless you want to make sure the specified date and time is within that 100 days.
Could be. What do you guys think?
Thinking along those lines.
We don't know. Almost.
Don't tie yourself down. Leave it ambiguous, because you might have something that you got to wait 8 months before you get an answer.
They get a decision on some funding from the state 7 months from now, but, you don't want to make that decision. What do you think, Ben?
I agree, you don't want to pick it specific, too specific.
As long as you specify a date, you're
Kind of
counting.
live birth operators.
And you can extend it, if you get to that date and time, you still need more time, you can extend it further.
I agree.
Let's do this. Let's take out that whole sentence below the first one where it says a substantive motion, the consideration of which has been deferred, expires 100 days thereafter, unless a motion to revive
The next sentence you want to keep in.
If consideration of a motion has been deferred, a new motion with the same effect cannot be introduced while the deferred motion remains pending. Yes, we need to keep that. Motion 10, motion for the previous question. The motion is not in order until there has been at least 20 minutes of debate and or every member has had an opportunity to speak once. That's just a special motion that happens.
All right, so a motion. For instance, back in November, there was a vote for a development that couldn't even get a motion, let alone a second, so it died for lack of a motion.
Right.
So is that what we're talking about, a motion for a previous question?
That's what I'm thinking. The motion is not in order until there has been at least 20 minutes of debate and or every member has had an opportunity to speak.
All right, so if every member has had an opportunity, then you can go ahead and readdress it again.
Right.
What we advised this development company was that since we didn't even get a motion, they can bring that up as for it to be on the agenda any other time they want.
Are
Of
you
course,
being-
we're going to have to re-engage in the deliberation between the board. We'll have to do the public hearing. Right? If we had a public hearing on that, right, and then it died for lack of a motion. So they can ask for it to be reconsidered, as long as each board member has an opportunity to speak, voice their whatever, then you guys can either get the vote, or it dies again for lack of a motion.
Right. So what are we saying on this one?
Are you meaning to limit debate to 20 minutes?
Motion for a previous question, and I guess, again, that's previous motion or previous question? Should-
Maybe previous motion.
Well,
This
the
one here
motion
says
passed.
question, and this is on the old.
Well, clean it up now.
Yeah.
I can ask a question.
Motion for a previous, a motion for a previous question. I guess the question would include a motion, but it would also include,
It should be, if you're talking about motion, you need to stay talking about motion.
right. I don't want it to come up again, right? So it has to be a motion that, that did not pass or was, did not carry a first or second. Or died for a lack of a motion or did not pass. What do you think, Nate?
I think we start back to it.
A little surface, I would strike it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking now too, is just to let it go. It doesn't. Yeah.
Interpretation, different interpretation.
Yes, and Ben has suggested we should strike it. I think the mayor agrees, and I would agree too.
Yes.
Because what we were able to determine is that if it died for lack of a motion, they could ask for it to be added in. So we don't need.
Motion 11 to postpone to a certain time or day. Motion 12 to refer a motion to a committee. You like that one? The Board of Aldermen may vote to refer a substantive motion to a committee for its study and recommendation. 60 days or more after a substantive motion has been referred to a committee, the introducer of the substantive motion may compel consideration of the measure by the entire to the Board of Aldermen.
Why do we have that word sustained motion?
Substantive motion is a, you know, it's a, not a procedural motion, it's,
It's a motion.
well, but they're trying to divide it up in these rules here as procedural and substantive, meaning like, okay, a housing development, that's a substantive motion.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn is procedure.
Okay.
Put a star inside of it.
Yeah, who's?
Right, I don't know.
That would be the
I would
motion.
imagine that would be
The
the,
first one,
yes.
and first or second one.
Mhm.
Right. That would be the introducer.
Right. Motion 13 to amend. Motion 14 to revive consideration, which in that one we need to change again because, why is that in here again? To defer consideration then to revive consideration. The Board of Aldermen may vote to revive consideration of any substantive motion earlier deferred by adoption of motion 9. The motion is in order at any time within the 100 days.
There's 100 days.
A substantive motion on which consideration has been deferred expires 100 days after the deferral unless the motion to revive consideration is adopted.
I think that seems kind of redundant.
It does. Scratch it?
Scratch.
Yeah, because we're going to have a certain date and time.
Right.
if
And that's
we-
where it changes.
If we get to a point on that certain date and time, and still haven't reached a decision, then we just extend it further.
Last to reconsider, I don't know if that's actually last. Last to reconsider. Board of Aldermen may vote to reconsider its action on the matter. A motion to do so must be made by a member who voted with the prevailing side, and only at the meeting during which the original vote was taken, including any continuation of that meeting through recess or adjournment. The motion cannot for the final adjournment of the meeting. Okay. Motion 16 to rescind or repeal. Motion 17 to prevent reintroduction for 6 months. The motion shall be, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The motion shall be in order immediately following the defeat of a substantive motion and at no other time. The motion requires for adoption an affirmative vote equal to 2/3 of the entire membership of the restriction imposed by the motion remains in effect for 6 months or until the next organization meeting of Board of Aldermen, whichever occurs first.
So there could be a motion, and it fails. Like if we had a motion tonight on something, and one member, or one alderman voted yes to, we missing two aldermen. If those other two aldermen had been here, they would have voted yes with the other one, and it would pass. So they gotta wait 6 months to bring it back before us again.
Understand that?
Well, let's see, substitute motion at one time, the motion requires about an affirmative of 2/3. So you're not going to be able to prevent the introduction 6 months unless you have 2/3. So that could be reintroduced because you're not going to have 2/3 vote to
So
keep
that is
it.
trying to say you gotta have 2/3 vote
To prevent. Right.
reintroduction.
For 6 months.
For 6 months.
So you have to vote.
And
So if a motion fails and then we vote, you can't bring that up again for 6 months.
2/3 votes.
Yes.
Right. If there's less than 2/3,
Then you
all right,
could.
bring it up next month.
Are you gonna rename that the Allen Chronicle motion?
Alan is not allowed to vote in this.
You should draw up laws for exams, is what you should do.
Yeah. Rule 1, I just changed, kept going. Rule 1, renewal of motion. Rule 2, withdrawal of the motion, and then 2, appointments and appointed bodies. This one is on page 12 of our old one. And this is where a lot of you all kind of come into place with the appointments, committees, and boards. Got some things that I'd like to do with these. Appointments and appointed bodies. Rule 1 on appointments. Appointments in open session. The board must consider and make any appointment to another body or in the event of a vacancy on the board to its own membership in open session. B, nomination voting procedure. The board shall use the following procedure to fill a vacancy in the board itself or any other body for which it has the power of appointment. The nominating committee shall be called upon to make its report and recommendations, if any. The mayor shall then open the floor for nominations, whereupon the board members may put forward and debate nominees. When debate ends, the mayor shall call the roll of the members, and each member shall cast a vote for his or her preferred nominee. The voting shall continue until the nominee receives a majority of votes cast during a single ballot.
Where's your wording?
See, where we're going to run the problem.
But no, on that one B, where's the wording that makes you form a nominating committee? You mentioned a nominating committee, but you don't have no
Right.
word
Well,
saying you want to form one, and who's going to form it.
so in my mind, with that, hold on, where is this? Some of these I took.
Just right down there, it says, the nominating committee shall be called upon to make a report. Do we have a nominating committee?
No. And so that's something that I wanted to bring. How do we, this is one of those that I wanted to look at. So how do we go about that? Let's come back to this one. Because there's more to
It's
it.
real simple.
Okay. There's more to it. All right, C. The mayor may make nominations and vote on appointments under this rule. Thoughts?
Mayor has no right to vote.
Right.
And I think the mayor may participate in debate about nominations, but not make nominations for the board to vote on.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And I think you're confusing me. Are you talking about,
Board of Adjustment, order, things like that.
doesn't the mayor have that power? The board doesn't appoint those people.
They vote.
I thought we just confirmed.
Pardon me?
Just confirmed. I don't know. I'm asking.
The staff is gonna, we want Curtis Wilson to renew his membership with the planning board.
And that's a board choice.
Yes, and that's a board vote. Oh, well, been a poor choice for 20 years then. Mr. Klein.
So we need to scratch C is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna scratch it. Coming back
And
to
you're right to break ties to prevail on this.
If the board is filling more than one vacancy, each member shall have as many votes in each balloting as there are slots to be filled. And the votes of a majority of the total number of members voting shall be required for each appointment. No member may cast more than one vote for the same candidate for the same vacancy during a single ballot. I mean, that's kind of basic stuff. Duty to vote. It is because there are appointments to be made, but failure to do so shall not invalidate a member's ballot. F, vote by written ballot. The board may vote on proposed appointments by written ballot in accordance with Part 4, Rule 2E1. Rule 2, committees and boards. Establishment and appointment. The board may establish temporary and standing committees, boards, and other bodies to help carry on the work of town government. The board, the power of appointment to such bodies lies with the board. 1. Any board shall advise on matters within the oversight of the Board of Aldermen. So any of the boards that are created can advise on matters, advise, keyword, within the oversight of the Board of Aldermen. 2. All voting matters must be presented by a representative of the committee. 3, the director makes the final decision. 4, the committee's work is primarily advisory in nature. Decisions or resolutions are considered proposals to the Board of Aldermen. The committee shall consist of an alderman, a representative of the department, and 3 citizens of the Dallas Township. Rule 6, the board or committee shall meet once a month. Rule 7, bylaws unique to each committee can be found online and in the clerk's office.
So you're going to allow Mike Fields to be appointed to a board?
Yes.
Just want to make sure that everybody understands. I didn't say Dallas. It said Dallas Township.
Wait, what?
You said Dallas Township. He lives outside the city limits, but he lives in Dallas Township.
Oh, I see.
3 citizens of the
Okay.
Dallas Township.
Is this how committees and boards are currently set? This seems, I don't know, it just seems awfully convoluted to, if you want to establish a board, is it not something that can be accomplished simpler? And the director makes the final decision. Who's the director?
Director of whatever service it is. So hold on, let me explain more. This will make sense later. And if it does, again, that's why I said this is me. This is brand new, like all new stuff here, guys. So I need you to work with me, okay? So ideas that I have. Number 1, mayoral appointments. So this is where it may get tricky. The mayor shall make the following appointments after consultation with the board. Mayor's Advisory Committee. An advisory committee is a collection of individuals who bring unique knowledge and skills which augment the knowledge and skills of the formal board of directors in order to more effectively guide the organization. Select and appoint members of the Mayor's Advisory Board. This power does not transfer at any time to Mayor Pro Tem. Appointments of the board shall last 1 year and conclude the first week of December. Members may be allowed to serve consecutive terms. The mayor shall consider nominations. Under that, Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee. So this is all from scratch, guys. Students from North Gadsden High School are nominated by their school or a city council member to serve on the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee each year, with representatives from the junior and senior class. I need to stretch out each year. The presiding mayor will appoint members to the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee based on nominations from the school and Board of Aldermen. The nominations are listed in the bylaws. Appointments shall conclude in May. Board appointments, the mayor and Board of Aldermen shall appoint members of the following boards and committees. Hey, I'm on the last page.
Page 13, page 14.
Planning and zoning, public safety, Community Development Association of Dallas, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Open meetings law.
Wait a minute,
Yep.
wait a minute, back up.
Okay, which part?
Do we have a Community Development Association of Dallas?
The Community Association Development of Dallas, I would like for that to be our small business association that's working together now, and people from that.
It's a new one.
I made that up.
Okay. And if you want to be the Community Development Association, then it can be the Community Development, that group can have a representative too on there, but it also can be, you may want a builder, you may want a lawnmower person,
Right.
whatever. Okay. So it's people that want to do community development. So that's a new one. The other ones we have, right?
Yes.
So that those existing boards, such as the planning board or the board of adjustment, do they fall under Rule 2, subsection 8, establishment of appointment?
Yes.
We don't have the adjustment, board of adjustments in here.
So, where is that?
You need a board of adjustment.
For what?
They come in.
That's a-
It's
yeah.
planning, it's all we can do.
That's comprised of,
Okay.
but they're two separate boards that have two different separate functions.
Okay.
Okay.
And our planning and zoning, they do a really good job of meeting regularly and having a representative of some sort at our meetings. But I want to hear from these planning, or from these committees. I want to hear, obviously, public safety doesn't have anything going on, so that's fine, but at our open sessions, I want to hear from those people. I want to hear what's going on. I want to get the citizens involved. Right. And I don't know if those appointments come from us or if they come from you guys once you get the board set up and going, but that's something that I'm looking for. And then with my mayor's youth advisory committee, I'd like for those students to have similar boards to what you all are a part of. And how do we mimic that? How do we continue to grow Dallas and see longevity and get our students involved in public safety, planning and zoning?
I think your mayor's advisory committee is a good idea for you to establish with the younger people at high school. It's an insight
Right.
from them. The board, number 2, at the very bottom. The mayor and board shall appoint members of the following board. See it?
Which one? Wait.
Number 2, page 12 at the bottom.
Ordinance, the mayor and board of aldermen shall appoint members of the following boards and committees.
See, you're not gonna have a vote, the mayor, so.
In planning and zoning, public safety, community development, and parks and rec.
She can,
Pardon me?
she can. You changed the word. The mayor and board of aldermen shall nominate members. Because I think right after that, somewhere in there it said, and then the board
Would vote.
would vote.
Right. There you go.
So that's how you fix that.
Yes.
I'm
So the mayor and board of aldermen shall
nominating.
nominate, okay, so change that word to nominate, thank you. Members of the following boards and committees.
And then the board of aldermen shall vote to appoint.
Yes.
And that might
Okay,
be
so
wrote in there somewhere.
members of the following boards and committees. Mayor and board of aldermen shall nominate. And the board of aldermen shall vote.
To appoint.
Yes.
And the only thing we have to do is add a word of adjustment, right?
Yes.
Unless
And
we,
isn't,
Is board of adjustment, sorry,
planning and zoning, that's the plan, is that? It's a board of adjustment.
so planning and zoning and board of adjustments are separate? Because I didn't see them, we had a list
The
somewhere.
planning board is planning and zoning, right?
Yeah, but then you have the quasi judicial. Not that they're, where same people wear 2 hats.
Okay, so it's really just a subsection. We're not creating a new group, it's just a sub.
But it is, but it is probably the most important.
Oh, absolutely.
Next to the board of aldermen.
Basically, we're looking to deviate from the zoning code with the board of adjustment.
Okay.
But could I revisit that A subsection, or rule 2, where it says the director makes the final decision? Who's the director?
Okay, so, right here on 3. The director makes the final decision. In my mind, the director would be the director of public safety, or of public works. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, I was right in the same class.
Right.
So the department head makes the final decision. And if y'all think that that's wrong, then so be it, but
yeah. What if we make a committee that don't have a department head?
Well, what's the final decision? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. What?
You might, you want, I think what you're trying to say is that so we form a committee to study what kind of plants to put in the courthouse. And we put Kathy Cloninger, you put 3 different people on there, and we tell them that Kathy's going to be the chairman of that committee, and then you want the chairman, instead of making the final decision, the chairman will make the final report.
About what's presented to the board for vote.
there it is. Yes.
An ultimate decision, but to decide what is presented to the board.
And you need to change that director's word to the chairman of the committee or the president of the committee
Okay, so
shall present their
chairman, co-chairman, whatever it is, okay.
It's the chairman,
Makes the,
department head, or whoever makes that final decision, what gets presented.
and you put in there that the board, that the committee that is formed, we can either, the alderman shall appoint a president of that, or a chairman of that committee. I mean, that way it gets done.
I don't think so. I think that within that committee, they should vote on the chairman.
Okay, that's fine with me. It just needs to be some wording in there saying what to do.
Okay. Well, and I think, I don't know if that needs to be in here or in the bylaws itself of each committee.
Huh?
No, I don't have them here, don't worry.
No, you need to say that. If you don't say something like that, I promise you some smart lawyer is there. But you just put it in there.
Chairperson and committee.
All right.
Okay.
And in that same section, number 5, each board or committee shall consist of an alderman, representative of the department, and 3 citizens of the Dallas, the town of Dallas. And so again, does that apply to the planning board and the board of adjustment?
You need to pull that out.
Okay,
You can say each board,
I would leave it out, but you will hamstring, so you might want to have 12 people on that
Right.
beautification committee.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so take out 5.
well, no, leave 5 in there, maybe say each board or committee shall consist of
At
a
least
number,
5.
a number, or at least 3 or more.
Right.
That way you can have a vote, 3 or more.
I don't like the number 3, I like 5. I think 3 is too few.
Sometimes it's not just right.
Would strike alderman, representative of
Yeah, strike everything else, just don't.
X number.
So what are we
Yeah,
doing as far as?
minimum of.
Okay.
minimum of What you guys want to agree upon.
Right.
Frank was saying something.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm feeling we need to have citizen input.
Yes.
I strongly believe that. So have we decided on the Dallas or the Dallas Township and differences?
He goes,
You cannot. Okay.
they don't buzz them people in town, don't buzz them.
I understand, I just want to get
That's my purpose.
Okay, so how do we change that?
Now, let's send them to Dallas, town of Dallas.
Listen to the city limits.
Let's send them to Dallas.
Okay.
So I have a
And
question.
Frank, I was,
I was just gonna ask validity in having people that maybe don't live in the city limits on the Parks and Rec committee.
Right.
Because of their participation.
Right,
in
and
that
that's kind of
program.
my point on that.
Maybe the other one's limited to in town, but just something maybe
Parks and
consider
Rec.
on the Parks and Rec committee.
Because kids come from various
And
parts
the-
because of how the program is.
Would you want to limit that?
And the Community Development Association. I want people outside of the town there because we have business owners that don't live in Dallas.
Questions on the Parks. you know?
I'm going to have to think about that.
All right, we'll look at the wording on that one.
You definitely.
Yeah. We'll
We're
start
tabling,
out.
we're tabling the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Study.
All right, so Dallas Township. Okay. Let's see.
We had a number on these.
Oh, yeah. Looking at a number on that, do we want each board or committee shall consist of a minimum of,
3.
I like 3. You can get 5 there.
You might be doing something where you can only find 3 people. Minimum 3.
each board or committee shall
Maximum
consist
207.
of a minimum of 3,
And then you do.
and then we'll figure out the rest of the wording after that. Okay.
Yeah, so we want to eliminate, as the chief just brought to my attention, we want to probably eliminate consideration of matters dealing with, for lack of a better word, sensitive issues such as promotions, demotions, that normally are restricted towards, to alderman, town manager, things of that nature. We don't want our,
We got a personnel board too, don't we?
personnel committee.
And that consists of all not citizens, right?
So I guess that's the question I asked Thomas. The committees we have currently now, I didn't want us to muddy up the water and have that committee and involve citizens in, because some of that information that we bring to you as a committee is private, sensitive information, and I don't think citizens should be.
See, and that's where I'm getting with these boards is I want the community involvement. I want to keep our staff and employees and what you all do separate, but
I guess that's why I want to
then
make sure.
include, right, so I'll come back to it.
All of our boards, they're advisory in nature, correct? Now, the personnel committee, personnel records are confidential and can only be reviewed by the supervisors, the town attorney, the manager, and the board, correct?
I don't think the board has ready access to it.
Not ready, but they're part of the final, but I don't know. Do we have a final appeal?
Well, with the manager form of government we have,
We don't have no appeal here. So we have no reason to. Unless we put in there something about we want to be able to advise the manager, but that's diluting the manager out.
currently, we have an appeal process set up where the appeal is sent to the mayor, which is part of our personnel policy, which we have undertaken with these appeals from certain members of the police department and other departments that when the employee appeals, when we set up making a determination, we kept her out of the appeal process and gave it to the mayor. So at that point, the mayor would become familiar with personnel records because he would.
You lost me there.
Okay.
The manager fires the police chief. Police chief wants to appeal his fire.
Right.
For our personnel matters, that appeal is brought to the mayor. And the mayor has a quasi hearing. Yeah,
Decision maker.
you're the decision maker, and we hear evidence from the mayor, from the manager and the appellate.
Well, not, what we did, we didn't drag the manager in, but we relied upon the department head to inform the mayor of what it is, and then the employee can have a lawyer if he so chooses or represent himself.
I'm just trying to get it in my
But
head.
then does the mayor have counsel in that as well?
Oh, yes, I am there at all times.
That's where I was getting, not by myself.
Right.
You're still there.
You
In some
make the
way.
decision, I advise as to what you're legally allowed to do.
Okay. That makes
You can't
better
fire
sense.
someone.
That is absolutely ridiculous for me to be able to say, yeah, you're out of here. That's where I was getting.
No.
That's okay.
You have to base your decision based upon what the department head is telling you what's happening.
Okay.
And you know that it was an adverse decision because the town manager terminated it. They want to. The town manager made her decision usually based upon what the department is.
Right, okay.
So she did not do an independent, well, so a lot of times you do, but you bring the employee in, listen to his version, and then the department head's version, and then you make a decision. But what you're looking to do is to have a non-biased person who hasn't made a decision already.
Okay.
Make the decision. And I would be there and say, no, you can't terminate someone because they're pregnant or whatever.
Okay.
Or getting ready to have a baby.
Right.
Because they're old. They're not.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's move on from this for now. Open meetings law requirements of open meetings law apply whenever majority of an appointed body's member gather in person or simultaneously. Procedural rules for these boards. The board may prescribe the procedures by which the town's appointed bodies operate. subject to any statutory provisions applicable to particular bodies. In the absence of rules adopted by the board, an appointed body may promulgate its own procedural rules so long as they are in keeping with any relevant statutory provisions and generally accepted principles of parliamentary procedure. With these boards, kind of what I'm getting at, boards going along, I would delegate for them and ask them to create their own bylaws in a sense, and then we would review those, approve.
Probably want to give some guidance.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And then everything else
And
is.
if I could mention one other
Yes.
thing, I mean, sometimes it's hard to get citizens to want to participate. And so maybe you number, let's see, establishment of appointment rule 2, at number 6, the board or committee shall meet once a month. Can you change that to may meet once a month? Because if there's nothing to discuss, perhaps maybe they don't need to meet. But I don't know.
May is a good idea there, because there may be no reason to meet. He's right.
And you don't want to discourage people from being on.
From being on board. Thoughts? Okay, so rule 2.
Meet once a month.
Meeting once a month. Got it. Okay. Lots of reading for you guys. Thanks for participating in that. I know that was lengthy, I'm sorry. Okay. With that one, moving on.
So you want this on the February agenda for consideration?
I'm sorry?
You want this matter on the February agenda for
Yes,
consideration?
please. And it will be draft, we'll have an updated draft and things, so not just this one. Okay. All right. Item B, walk to remember for Walker Hayes Scholarship Walk. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Sam, Aldermen had brought this to our attention. He is working with this young lady who is a student at Northwestern. And I don't know if you remember, but a number of years ago, there used to be the Kelly Duffy Walk that was conducted in town. The town did not sponsor it, but we helped support it through family of Kelly Duffy, who was also a Northwestern student previously. So they're wanting to conduct this walk, and this will come back in February for approval as a special event, but they're wanting to use Kleinford Park on March 23rd from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is a fundraiser, hopefully for a scholarship in the name of Walker Hayes, who passed away within the last year. Be open to the general public. You know, they're hoping, they're really hoping to have an attendance. But Sam wanted to just get this in front of you so you could take a look at it before voting on it in February. But they, instead of before where the Kelly W walk was actually a sanctioned 5K walk and a route, the whole 9 yards, they just want to utilize the track at Kleinford Park to be able to conduct this fundraiser to fund this scholarship in Walker's name. And that's basically the gist of it. He said if there are any questions or to arise, he would be glad to field those questions.
I don't think we should do this, is that they're allowed to advertise this on the Jumbotron out there for free for 2 weeks prior to. We should be charging.
I think it needs to be longer than that so that they can get people to register for it.
But it's got to be if they want to advertise. If they don't want to advertise, it's fine. But if they want to advertise it, it's a nonprofit. All of us, or most of us in this room, knew Walker. They know his family. I just felt the Jumbotron would be
Looking to change the fee to all nonprofits should not be charged here.
That's going to be something that we're going to look at. Didn't I ask for us to look at all the fees and stuff?
Yes.
Didn't I?
And actually, just on that note, just for point of information, Alderman Martin said as his contribution to that event, he was willing to pay the
Well, then, let him give him money to the wall to do good.
That's something we would have to vote on. That's just something we would bring up and vote on.
You could, and so approve it with the provision of the no fee and
If they would-
free advertisement on the sign if they want.
All right. Everybody okay on that one? Moving on to C, Stacy Thomas sign request.
Stacy Walker, as we all know, she was the first black alderwoman here in the town of Dallas, which is a very, very high mark. And she has been and is active still within the community, and she does several things and holds events within town through the year and so forth. And as I'm reading, I don't know if you want to speak to this, we've received this request for the placement of a sign at Jaggers Park commemorating her, and I don't know if we want to speak to this in particular on this evening, or if you would like to move this and discuss it at a further, at the next meeting, something, or I do have, and wanted, as I said, I wanted to add something to the agenda for this evening that would probably take care of all of this at the same time.
She had reached out, I believe she reached out to Mr. Trudnak also. What she had verbally said was, people in the community were asking why there wasn't a sign with her name on it, and so she would like to have that. That's basically all that she had said to me, and I think Mr. Trudnak and I both had said it would be a board decision to put up a sign at Jaggers Park. So, and then we would bring it forward. So then there was, former mayor, Mr. Coleman, had brought by a letter of recommendation, which is in that your packet also, in support of that request. So it would be, if you want to see and have a sign done and placed at Jaggers. My understanding was basically, her name, the dates that she served as alderman, and designated that she was the first black female alderman elected to the board. That was my understanding. Did you have a different? Have you heard anything different?
I'd like to hear what Frank's idea is.
Yeah, while we, let's, if we can, I don't know if we want to do this, but while we thank Mr. Coleman for his letter, I think that for now we table this until we hear other options that may be created for that.
Maybe perhaps a full board to consider.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Okay, so can we move on? Are you guys okay with that?
Are we going to keep this for the February agenda though?
Let's wait. Let's wait. Okay, Parks and Recreation sponsorship packet. Do you want to talk on that, Maria? Or
I
Alex, or-
actually didn't see
Okay.
this before it came to me,
Okay.
so.
This one, yeah, this one definitely needs to be tabled, and for more information. Alex does a really good job at promoting any place that he works for in athletic program. He does a really good job in promoting them and getting things going, but I would rather have him here to discuss
And
this.
just one thing I would mention is this could be considered along with, if you wanted to, along with the overall arching fee schedule that is part of the budget process.
I see. Okay.
New fee.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I said new fee.
New fees.
Oh,
I really wish Look at that. Okay, let's move on to E, Black History Month proclamation.
Yes. If I may, Madam Mayor, we all know what Black History Month is next month, February. And I know that in previous years, we have done a proclamation for Black History Month for that celebration here in the town of Dallas. Set up or anything like that, maybe that's something we can look at down the road, but it is a special time of year this month. We're looking forward to it at the church. Now, here is what I am proposing. As we write this proclamation to be presented at the next board meeting, things that were brought forward as far as Stacy Thomas are concerned could be incorporated into that proclamation and presented to her. Hopefully that would take care of this particular request at that time as we explore that a little bit further and have some further discussions concerning placing signs and so forth. You know, and I know that some of this was derived out of the fact that Mr. Glenn Rath brought forward a couple months ago to place a sign there as a historical marker as to where the old James School was, for which I see that setting, you know, which was very appropriate to be put because that is where the Jaggers Park now sits, no doubt. But as far as doing personal plaques and signs and so forth, I think we need to kind of give that a little bit deeper consideration because that is Jaggers Park. Now, if at some point that, like I said, she has reached a high mark, and she's very active in the community. She's well known within the community. The fact that she was the first black alderwoman in the town of Dallas is a historical mark. And I'm sure that at some point that will be fully recognized and done by the town at some particular point. But I would like to give her this, you know, this proclamation during the Black History Month, and with the statement in that proclamation concerning that, if it is the
It stays in the minutes, correct?
Yes.
So why don't we do a proclamation for Black History Month and also do a resolution that she can take home and put on the wall, recognizing her as the first black female alderman of the town. That way, she actually has her own document, and we also still recognize this as Black History.
Do we have, is for the proclamation and recognition, she will not, will she or will she not be the only person that we recognize? And I know we're not there yet, but I do want to say that if we do a resolution.
Next is 2 weeks.
That's coming. So if we recognize her and give a resolution for her, whoever else we recognize in that, I believe should also get a resolution or a copy of themselves.
But in the proclamation, and
How does that
normally
work?
we just recognize that. We don't recognize individuals.
Oh, you're not recognizing individuals. See, in my mind, you're recognizing individuals.
No.
Okay.
No, that is strictly just a proclamation for Black History Month. It was just my suggestion at that time to add that, but what Mr. Cromwell was talking about also had crossed my mind. So that
Would that work?
It would absolutely.
Okay.
And there's that proclamation, there's basic format that the town has used for several years. It's already set. The proclamation kind of recognizes the month, gives a little history as to the formation of And there are a couple of people named, but more at a national level that were big in that district. So and that's already there and ready. So then if there could be some information together that would help Sarah form a resolution. That can be done also.
And we do that,
I have some information that you might know.
do we vote on that on the first, do we vote on that?
In February.
Okay. So the plain Black History Month on the last day of February. So I'm glad we're doing that.
Well, yeah, actually,
Some people wait, some think,
we may, in thinking about that, and excuse my brain hasn't been working like that, but maybe next year we ought to do that proclamation in January so we can.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next
Yeah.
point is how do we,
We do the proclamation in January, stating that the month of February.
I was confused how we were getting all that done in February.
Yeah, it slipped my mind, there's
Okay.
just so much that was happening in December, January, and so forth, that we just got going forward. But now I think we can get that on track.
Okay. All right, can we move on from that one?
yeah.
Good. Two more things. F, we have a social media specialist, I'd like to table that one until we can get everyone here. Is that okay?
You want it on next workstation or agenda? Workstation.
Work. Last, I should have deleted this one. I don't want to do it anymore.
Closed session.
So the closed session, I want to close that.
We just removed.
I mean, we can go into the closed session, it won't be long, but I would almost,
There ain't no point in doing it, don't do it.
You had two things you want to discuss, so both of them you don't want to discuss anymore?
I only remember one right now.
Me too.
Until we can come back to it, because I'm fogged. Okay.
I remember we had a discussion how we were going to do it.
Yeah,
Madam Mayor, if I may,
please.
I just want to take a moment, if I may. I'd like to recognize our town manager, Maria Stevens. This is her last formal meeting here in the town of Dallas. I just want to say personally, you've been very in bringing me to where I am at this point right now, and I just want to thank you so much. And I know that for the town of Dallas, if I may, you have been a blessing to this town. And we thank you so much for your service and for all of your work and everything. And we just pray for you. We just wish you Godspeed in all the things that you do. We know you're just right up the road. We got your phone on speed dial. So you're never too far that we can't reach out and touch you. But I just want to say, God bless you. Thank you so very, very much for here in this town for all those many years. Amen.
I really appreciate it.
No, we're gonna do this.
Thank you. Yes, speak.
I'm not tired and I'm not nervous. It has been truly my privilege and honor to be a part of this town. I've done the very best I can, and I love this town, and wish you all the best. And you all will always be my thoughts and prayers also. But it has truly been my privilege and honor that you've allowed me to serve here. Thank you.
See,
Please, yes.
to echo want to say this, as a former manager at a sister city here in Gaston County, she has a wealth of knowledge that she never hesitated to share with her sister communities. And I was the beneficiary of a lot of her knowledge in my time, in my tenure. And I appreciate that personally, Maria, what you've done. Together in just a few days that I've been here. You are a wonderful leader that cannot be surpassed by anyone. And this board there has a hard task ahead of them to find someone that can remotely fill their shoes. But personally, I want to thank you for what you did for your sister communities as well.
I would like to piggyback now on both of them. Just in my small time of being here, I'm learning, and I feel almost a boss, but a mother. I felt you were trying to protect me in a lot of ways, just in my small time of being here. But you kind of helped guide me in what's right, and I know that we have some big shoes to fill with you, and I just think truly.
And it truly is, Alderman Miller said, y'all have my phone number, I'm glad to help in any way. So don't hesitate to call if you.
So when Ben gets out of line, Mr. Blackwood gets out of line, it's all you.
That happens. That's my brother.
I soon get promoted in Charlotte Thursday,
Congratulations.
and we're gonna try to work it out. I may or may not be here.
I absolutely understand.
You know, I already know what I think, and I figured when there was, I watched it come up here and there, where I have been before.
I'm getting a shot in my shoulder at 2:30, but I'll be here after that.
Sarah,
I tried to tell them I didn't need that. I didn't need it.
You need that, you deserve that, you've done a great job.
in all seriousness, we don't have to make any motions or anything, right? So with deleting this item, the closed session, because I didn't.
Yeah, you can just, I think you should just make a statement that it's no longer necessary.
Okay, so number 4 is no longer necessary for the closed session. Okay. Do we
Now
have?
we need a motion to adjourn.
All right, this